This is week 4, debut number 3 of the North American Challenger League. We're hopping into our third game of the night between CrsA Academy and Gold Gaming Los Angeles. I am MalfusX, and I'm being joined by my good buddy Studio.
Hey, I'm Malfus. Well, before I go into pleasantries, let's just say this level 1 most likely going to be passive from both sides. Could see a bit of invade from GGLA, but the level 1, while it's strong over on CrsA Academy, they don't really have that much range. I mean, with that much range, I mean they don't have an AD carry whatsoever. So their range damage is a bit lacking, and for GGLA, they have decent damage, but no real CC.
Alright, so Bischu, rocking the Gragas. I'll be interested to see where CrsA Academy end up throwing their lanes on this one. That's another part of the shuffle up here as they run this no marksman composition. See, they're stepping forward a little aggressively here, throwing down the flag. Ward going to go down into that brush, so they will spot out that CrsA Academy are following their way through into this. Otter going to recognize that, okay, that's 5 people coming towards me. I should probably not be here anymore as Jinx. They get the ward down into the brush and then just immediately walk away from this one. They did already have the ward down on their blue buff as well. So if Gold Gaming Los Angeles step forward a little bit too aggressively onto this one, CrsA Academy are going to know exactly where they are there. They do indeed see that positioning, and now we'll see what the response is. Right now it looks like CrsA Academy are packing up their things and making a run towards blue buff. Nope, never mind.
I mean, all 5 members of CrsA Academy just grouped up in their own side jungle. I don't know where they're going to go. No one really knows where they're going to go. Usually you see a lot of 2v2s happen with this 80 carryless comp, but at the same time, there's a lot of things possible. Looks like Jack's going to be heading towards that top lane, Bran hanging out in the mid lane, with Shyvana going bot possibly. And they're actually catching out the 1v2v1 from Jinx. This is an odd setup. They catch Gragas. They predicted it because they saw him in the ward in the bot lane. They see Otter now going mid, and they're actually going to try and force that 2v2 still, and they've caught it.
Yeah, again and again we've seen Rhux hold down the solo lane with the Shyvana. That seems to be a big part of this composition. And they are indeed going with the support plus mid laner. Again, we've seen a lot of that, like Nidalee plus Fiddlesticks. This time around, it's going to end up being the Brand plus Fiddlesticks. That, I mean, you throw down the Fear on the NydusHerMain, and that sets only Jaximus up to walk in, throw down the Conflagration, throw down the Seer, and get that stun, and just get so much damage down onto either one of those targets. OneBadBrad, going for the aggressive invasion here, will be able to take away the opposing blue buff and head back out. So it looks like OneBadBrad actually has a pretty good shot at controlling 3 buffs in this first rotation, as CrsA is just taking up his double golems.
And CrsA could try and rotate towards the blue buff for CrsA Academy, but CrsA Academy, they've got a ward on it, and OneBadBrad already in the mid lane applying some damage. Otter gonna get poked down hard. As far as early aggression is concerned, GGLA have already fallen behind, losing the buff control, losing the damage. And now, fabbbyyy should know that CrsA is up there. There's very few places he could be. They have a lot of wards across the map. He's got to have a feeling something is up.
But he's still playing this very, very far forward right now, and Bischu finds him isolated. That body slam is going to be so much damage. See Tsatsulow just playing incredibly aggressively, stepping forward there. Just Jaximus has had all the space in the world to farm as he's leading the CS count by about 5. We see CrsA still sticking around up in the top lane, just waiting for the perfect opportunity. They spot Jarvan out on that ward as you see the ping does go down there, so they know where he is. They know he's not in position for the counter break. We see the Vault Breaker comes into the top lane, but it's not going to catch fabbbyyy out. He just uses the leap strike onto the creeps and gets himself away from that one very, very nicely.
That's huge because what happened that entire time, CrsA not farming a thing, lost a buff. He's now barely level 3 versus OneBadBrad already level 4. OneBadBrad at this point can invade freely. They know how far behind CrsA is. They know he's barely gotten any of his own jungle. And just stealing a Wraith Camp, for example, which OneBadBrad is trying to do right now, is going to be huge in setting back. CrsA, he just has nothing to farm up. He could either sit in the top lane or, I guess, retreat and do nothing. There is no jungle left for him to clear safely.
Alright, so we see Yazuki trading down with Rhux down the bottom lane. Yazuki will at least have some form of sustain coming out with his W, whereas there's nothing for Yazuki. Up in the top lane, fabbbyyy going in onto Bischu, but CrsA is still in the brush. There's the counter-strike, OneBadBrad coming into range. Gonna get the double pop-up there with the EQ combination. We see fabbbyyy able to flash himself back out of this one. OneBadBrad now going for the 2v1. Bischu very low, will flash back into the brush. Gives up first blood to OneBadBrad. OneBadBrad now trying to chase down to CrsA. His red buff has faded, so will not be able to apply that extra damage going to slow. He's gonna back away from this, so there's the conflagration. There's the fear. NydusHerMain taking all the burst damage. The Dark Wind is there as well. Is the passive for Brand enough? Yes, it is. Combine that with the Ignite, and only Jaximus is going to be able to pick up a kill for himself. And just like that, CrsA Academy leap out to a 2-0 lead.
The passive from Brand, the Ignite from Brand, tons of fire coming out from Brand. Makes sense because he's a man made of fire himself. A 1.5k gold lead. They could not really deal with the damage from fabbbyyy, with the great counter-strike actually that prevented Bischu and CrsA from disengaging from OneBadBrad when he finally did show up. And actually, it was funny to watch. fabbbyyy tried to move towards the brush to get one more auto attack on Bischu. Took a lot more damage as a result, but it was still fine because he got in position for that counter strike. He got the DPS off, and it let OneBadBrad get the finisher. Bischu just could not get out of there, and as a result, when he tried to actually flash away, it was because he knew OneBadBrad could flash, put down the Dragon Strike, and kill him. So he was just looking for some way to juke the Dragon Strike, some way to catch him off guard, and it didn't work quite so well, but hey, he gave it a shot. It was an interesting play in a weird situation.
Absolutely, yeah, and so much of what made that gank go so well, or that counter gank rather, was the fact that they got CC onto both targets stacked up consecutively like that. fabbbyyy got a double counter strike down for the double stun, and then we saw that OneBadBrad was able to get in with the double EQ combination, both to pop people up and shred both of their armor down to allow them to just continue to stand and just deal so much damage. OneBadBrad, we talked about how this composition is very, very reliant on an extremely aggressive early game jungler. It's able to make those ganks happen, apply pressure to the map, and open up space for that melee range one roll to farm. And they do it really, really well with Aatrox, and OneBadBrad's showing that he's got the chops on the Jarvan as well.
I mean, right now lanes are just in favor of CrsA Academy. Shyvana's up ahead bot lane. It is a rough lane, a very difficult lane for Kha'Zix to survive in if he can't get very early control, because Shyvana's just going to have the damage and the tankiness over Kha'Zix at this point. As long as Rhux never isolates, he'll just keep farming and stay strong. The jungle is way in favor of OneBadBrad. Mid lane, they've already picked up that kill onto NydusHerMain, so as a result, Brand is ahead of Jinx. Not a common statement to make, but still something that's going on. And of course, we saw it happen top lane with the kill on the Bischu. So just lanes are just so far in favor of CrsA Academy right now. They will transition out into more of a push phase eventually, but right now, they can sit in lane and just take control of pretty much the entire map.
Yazuki being very, very smart about this one. Oh, we see there's the explosive cast. fabbbyyy getting pushed into CrsA. Going to use the counter strike though to try to get away from this one. CrsA is going to flash forward. Wants to pick up this kill. Bischu not going to land the body slam. That's going to get CrsA killed. He goes down to the tower. fabbbyyy will fall down to that barrel roll, but Bischu's going to go down as well. fabbbyyy comes out ahead in the 2v1, grabbing 2 kills for himself.
GGLA doing whatever they can to make sure they cannot win this game. A mid-engagement coming out from OneBadBrad.
Jaximus throwing down the ultimate as well. It's going to bounce between Otter and NydusHerMain. NydusHerMain steps too far forward. Rhux is in the area as well. He's going to be able to take away that kill. They use the Cataclysm. OneBadBrad, no mana left, wants to chase down onto Otter. Doesn't have his flash available. Rhux going to be the one to flash over the wall. There's a cleanse here from Otter, but there's no flash coming out from him. So there's the red buff. Otter's going to go down. Rhux picks up 2 kills for his roam to mid.
Fantastic roam overall. That topside gank, of course. fabbbyyy a bit too tanky. He does have that Grandmaster Might, which really increases mitigation there. And it was the missed body slam. It was CrsA flashing underneath the turret for the damage without Vault Breaker up, without really that many skills up, and without red buff. It did not actually provide any CC to control and contain fabbbyyy. That was rough. This is now a terrible situation for GGLA. This team comes from CrsA Academy. It takes control of the game incredibly fast if you let it. And now, for example, Otter, he's just not going to have the damage. He's not going to have the relevancy to deal with anybody over on the side of CrsA Academy. Yazuki's going to be the big player here, but who does he assassinate? Everybody's going to be relatively tanky, with the exception of Tsatsulow, who will have his Fear, of course, and Jaximus, who is Brand, will have the Stun, and will probably be near Tsatsulow, who will have the Fear. So there's just very few things GGLA will be able to do in, I'd say, gank potential with Kha'Zix. They need to roam, they need to start making objective plays, because right now they're just so far behind.
OneBadBrad a little greedy to control 3 buffs again. Going to grab up his own blue buff, even though he had Jaximus there trying to take it away. Just too strong. In the mid lane, we see CrsA taking a ton of damage down here. There's so much damage coming out from Jaximus, but it's a good thing as NydusHerMain's actually going to be able to pick up that kill. The Ignite goes down. Jaximus is able to return the kill around, so OneBadBrad saying, call that one. Tsatsulow looks like he's going to fall. Otter going to be able to pick up that kill. Gets excited, but will not use that speed buff to get himself back into the fight as he just, I don't know, didn't feel like it.
I mean, hey, a 2-for-1, not a bad trade overall. They finally got some gold, and the gold it does go towards the mid laner. They did lose CrsA in the process. CrsA is just not having a good game. He's 28 CS and 42 CS. He's only gotten, I believe, 1 or 2 buffs at this point in the game. As a map control, just timed it perfectly for CrsA Academy to keep taking buffs. This is just such a dangerous position to be in. But they're still getting kills onto Otter, getting gold to the right places, into the right pockets. And NydusHerMain now in danger, though.
So much damage coming out here from OneBadBrad. OneBadBrad needs one more auto attack. There, he's going to be able to pick it up. CrsA could not get himself into range in time. Doesn't have the ultimate off cooldown. Now OneBadBrad in a little bit of trouble. As Otter going to get a lot of damage down here. The zap will not land as OneBadBrad able to use that EQ combo to pull himself back out of danger. And a very, very nice assassination on the support coming off of CrsA Academy's jungler.
And when you said a little bit of trouble, you meant it. Very little they could do once the flag and drag combo was back up. I mean, NydusHerMain is just so squishy. Has hit level 6. He's actually doing pretty well for himself as support because he does have that kill and assist. But when it comes to surviving Jax, Shyvana, Jarvan, it's not going to happen if they get good initiation off, especially if Jaximus has any sort of follow-up himself. The pressure still remaining strong on the bot side though. Yazuki falling behind by about 9 CS, but that big old creep wave will be pushing up to his turret soon. The question is, does Rhux actually want to try and push down the turret, or just keep going for objectives? Dragon now being looked at though. Going to make that objective push, which it keeps GGLA in their lanes if they do pick up this dragon, which is exactly what CrsA Academy want.
Absolutely, yeah, and this is one of the things that makes the Shyvana so effective, is the ability to just completely shove the wave over very, very quickly, and then use all that move speed from burnout to roam around, secure those objectives, make that roam happen to mid lane and grab up 2 kills. Rhux is extremely tanky right now, and he's building even more split push as well, as it looks like he's going for the first item, Sunfire Cape. He's picked up the Chain Vest, there's a Giant's Belt as well, so that's going to give him more damage mitigation. It's going to give him more pressure when he goes into melee range against Yazuki's Kha'Zix. And we should point out, Yazuki has yet to really itemize a lot of effective early combat stats. Like, he's got the double Doran's items just to keep up with Shyvana, but then he bought that Tear of the Goddess first, which granted allows him to spam his abilities more, which is always great, but it doesn't give him any extra offensive stats apart from that. Now we see CrsA in the area. It looks like they want to try to make something happen here, but honestly, Rhux is so tanky right now with 116 armor and so much HP, I'm not even sure if they could pick up this kill in the 2v1.
I mean, Rhux does have the dragon form available. He will be able to descend right on out of there. And CrsA has to back it up. They could not effectively get that kill. They could not reliably get it. Just because Rhux, if he activates his ultimate, would probably get back to the turret. Now fight going on top side though.
Bischu popping the ultimate. We see OneBadBrad actually misses the combination. Isn't able to get himself in onto this one. He's trying to close the gap and get the ultimate down into Bischu, but he just cannot quite make it happen. Bischu going to be able to get himself back out of that one. Doesn't have to use the summoner spell, but a little bit of an unfortunate misplay there from OneBadBrad.
A lucky Bischu. And Yazuki going for an old-style Kha'Zix build. This is what you used to see out of him back in the day. I'd say a lot more modern-style Kha'Zix, you actually max out Taste Their Fear first, just to go for the all-in presence. But he's maxing out the Void Spike. He's going for a lot of push and just trying to keep Shyvana pushed back, which is effective in this situation.
OneBadBrad smells Zyra in the water and wants to try to take this one down as he uses the flag and drag. Cannot get himself into range. Will back away as he recognizes, you know what? Fiddlestick and I probably can't take down this 3v2, but you know, maybe next time we'll try for it.
Rhux bot lane just interrupting, actually going onto Yazuki. Just trying to keep him going back safely.
He's just being obnoxious, but now that he's in the dragon form, you know, Burnout leaves the trail behind him, so he actually ends up pushing even faster. Whenever he's in the dragon form, he gets AoE on the E, gets AoE on the Q as well. Here comes the flash. There's the ultimate coming out from CrsA as well. Rhux going to use his ultimate to get away from this one. They know that he's got no Dragon's Descent, and that's going to mean one less escape. They're chasing down. They're going for the full dive now. Will they be able to pick this up in time? They do get the kill. CrsA will not fall down. Yazuki, though, going to have to flash away. There's the Cataclysm coming out from OneBadBrad. It's not quite enough damage, but the red buff applied with the auto attacks will be enough to take that one down. Now we see CrsA gonna have to suicide. He's waiting in the brush, wants to give himself as much time as possible to make sure that he's cleared that, but he didn't! Rhux gonna get the gold for that, and the experience is gonna go over to Tsatsulow.
CrsA just not having any sort of fun the second he goes underneath the turret. Tower dive not paying it off for GGLA. The otter is pushing in mid lane. Should be able to pick up this turret before Brand and Fiddlestick return, especially with those good roots landing from NydusHerMain. I mean, that was a play from Rhux. Rhux knowing how short the cooldown on Dragon's Descent is, especially if he's pushing aggressively like he has been, it's not going to be down for a very long time. Otter looking mid lane could possibly pick up that kill into Brand with his ultimate, but will be disengaging for safety's sake. The problem is Rhux didn't really expect the CrsA gank, and with good reason, because yeah, it was successful. They did kill him, but what did it cost them? Both the lives of CrsA and Yazuki. So I can see why he thought he was safe. It makes sense why he thought he was safe and was able to blow the ultimate. Unfortunately, it did cost him his life, but it also cost him, or got him 2 kills for his team, and 1 for himself with that delayed kill.
And that's, you know, one of the things that makes Jinx so strong is that if she ever finds herself alone with a tower, You just hop onto the minigun form. And Pow Pow just shreds down towers so incredibly quickly. And then if you're not in a safe position, you can always just go on with our old buddy Fishbones and hit the tower from 700 range, and then not really have to worry about it too much. That's one of the things that makes her such a strong champion in the current meta. And we just had a great illustration of it right there. There was just a brief window of time where there wasn't a Fiddlesticks and Brand standing in front of the tower, and as soon as they weren't there, the tower is gone. And we see there's the Bloodthirster first. It's a very, very common starting build just because of how much raw attack speed you get from Pow Pow. You can just stand and lifesteal tank so many people. We see NydusHerMain stepping forward here. Kha'Zix still hanging out in the brush. They're trying to bait it out. OneBadBrad going to go for the bait. NydusHerMain might not be tanky enough to actually take this one down. We see the zap coming out. There's the root as well coming down from Otter, but they're not going to be able to keep their support alive. Kha'Zix might fall down as well. fabbbyyy going to be able to pick up that kill. Now turns on to Otter. Can they get the damage output down? The zap comes out. They pick it up. fabbbyyy picks up the double kill, and they go 3 for none in a 2v3 situation.
Beautiful play. OneBadBrad using the same standard twice to get CC on multiple people from different angles. Yazuki looking for fabbbyyy, does pick up that kill relatively easy. fabbbyyy recalling. He actually moved forward to recall as well, so not a good positioning for him. But that was still fantastic play overall. Even with Yazuki picking up that kill, they were able to just kind of bounce around the proper position. That last second juke from fabbbyyy to dodge that zap was massive. And as a result, they get 3 kills for 1. Now Rhux is able to take down bot turret. Actually, that was OneBadBrad, but Rhux pushes to the top turret, or bot turret. The top bot turret, one farther in the lane. It damages it quite a bit. They have vision back on the blue buff. They're forcing Kha'Zix to use pink wards just to control his own blue buff, and they still damage mid. They're just controlling the map, controlling the pressure, controlling the objectives.
All right, and this is one of the things that having Shyvana will bring to the composition. Is just the fact that there's so much pushing potential that if you don't have anyone in the lane there, the creeps are automatically gone. Like, it's not like Jinx where if you're standing in front of the tower, you just shred it down because you get so much attack speed and you build all damage. But the creeps just instantly die, and then there's the fact that there's a Bilgewater Cutlass coming out, gonna give a little bit of extra attack damage. Rhux is a big part of his pushing power is his mobility. As you see him diving back in onto Otter, his ability to clear out waves. You see there's the Bilgewater Cutlass just running through this one. Otter gonna get 100-0 almost instantly. The ignite ticking down. Otter gonna have to flash away from this one. Just barely gets himself out alive. By the time I clicked him, he had 18 HP.
I mean, he survives. fabbbyyy now in danger up topside, actually. When I say that, I mean he's perfectly A-okay. Flashes forward.
Gonna be able to get the counter strike down. There's the root coming out for NydusHerMain, but the jump, or leaf strike rather, gonna be able to pick him that up, and fabbbyyy will not run out of the Grandmaster's Might, so does still have the resistances he needs to survive that last tower shot. Now he's just, oh, this is so dangerous for NydusHerMain. He comes back in, gonna get the ward down. fabbbyyy, does he have the damage up? When we see the Zyra ultimate, it's not gonna be in time. fabbbyyy picks up the kill. Now he needs to lifesteal. He's using counter strike just to stop taking damage from the creeps. Now he gets over onto Bischu, but cannot get himself away from this one. fabbbyyy picks up yet another 2 for 0 in the 2v1, and then falls down to the roam from Bischu.
He falls down to the roam. Actually very dangerous from NydusHerMain. I almost thought he was going to get away, but he held the passive just to make sure that the kill did go to Bischu. And the issue is what happened. It's a numbers game. Every time GGLA lose this fight with numbers advantage, they lose objectives across the map. This time it was bottom turret that was being pressured earlier, and the dragon now going to CrsA Academy ahead by 7,000 gold. Kha'Zix now doing golem, now in a lot of trouble, does have his flash available.
And he may have to use it. OneBadBrad does have the Cataclysm available, but he doesn't want to go in on that one just yet. So Kha'Zix is going to be able to walk himself back out to the tower. But OneBadBrad, I mean, his presence has been pretty strong with this one. 4-0-4 right now on the Jarvan is extremely huge. And look at how far ahead he is as well. Don't even have the Spirit of the Ancient Golem done yet for Kha'Zix, whereas we have the Spirit of the Ancient Golem and an Aegis completed here for OneBadBrad.
OneBadBrad has 1,300 gold in his inventory. It's actually 2,800 gold in favor of OneBadBrad. He's not doubling up Kha'Zix, but he's getting close to it. And if he keeps picking up kills, keeps picking up turrets, it might just happen. Now, they do have Otter up top lane. It's going to be a 3v5 if CrsA Academy try and fight this. And based off their current and past experiences, they'll probably win. But this opens up the rest of the map. CrsA Academy now is already sending Rhux back bot. They sent Brand mid lane. They can't really fight this on GGLA because if they do, the fight will last long enough to lose more turrets, to lose more objectives.
And interestingly enough here, alright, so talk to us about the itemization decision here from fabbbyyy. He went with the Blade of the Ruin King first instead of completing the Trinity Force on Jax.
He knows how far ahead he is, and it's also part of this tanky lineup. Everybody needs to be relatively tanky. And with that Blade of the Ruin King, what can he do now? He can just jump on someone and kill them. He's far enough ahead where he doesn't need the extra damage from Triforce. He's far enough that... Oh, I was looking at Shyvana with that Sunfire Cape. Whoops. But he's still going for that Triforce. He's far enough ahead where he just murders people and he just needs the slow more than the outright laning damage from the Triforce.
So we see Rhux right now stepping forward here, so aggressively going to use the ultimate, pulls Bischu and Yazuki back in. OneBadBrad comes in, smites away the blue buff, dives back in. Only Jaximus going to pick up the kill onto Bischu. OneBadBrad going to clean up Yazuki, and at this point it looked like CrsA Academy have GGLA under wraps.
It's 20-minute mark. A surrender would actually not be unheard of in a situation like this. They're just so far behind, even though they have Otter on Jinx, such a powerful late game carry. It just doesn't matter. They're already losing their inhibitor turret. And now fabbbyyy 1v2ing one more time. Gonna kill Kha'Zix actually.
Kha'Zix gonna go back in with the ultimate on that one. fabbbyyy picks that one up, now dives in onto Otter. Otter's just screaming, fabbbyyy senpai, please leave me alone. fabbbyyy just chasing him down. There's the Grandmaster's Mind. He picks up that kill. fabbbyyy, the king of the 2v1. So he comes away with yet another double kill. NydusHerMain gonna fall down inside the base. There's the ace coming out from CrsA Academy. They've already pushed this in onto the Nexus Towers.
Making sure it's being pressured quite a bit. They do survive, though. It looks like they'll back on out. Yazuki, of course, has quite a bit of damage, and a lot of the team is relatively low. Jaximus taking a lot of the brunt right there. Yazuki actually might have to retreat. If they do decide to die for this, Rhux does have the ultimate up. Could go for the damage onto that Kha'Zix, but it looks like he will be safe. As OneBadBrad just going to casually CS underneath the enemy base, underneath the enemy turret, take some damage. Doesn't really seem to care at this point.
If Bischu ulted him back under the tower, there was a pretty good chance he would be able to pick up that kill. OneBadBrad does have the flash available, so he's probably watching out for that and recognized that he's going to have to flash away. But in either case, he's just that tanky. He feels that confident that he's that far ahead right now. Adding on, he's got the locket completed, and he's picked up a Warden's Mail as well. We take a look at fabbbyyy right now. He's got, 2,000 gold in the inventory, so he's got a Triforce whenever he feels like going back to actually buy it. As he's going to be running away from, scouting out the red buff area here.
I mean, fabbbyyy's got the Triforce. Rhux, how much gold does he have to spend? Actually, just spent it right now. He's already got a giant spell, incredibly tanky. Shyvana with 3,000 HP at the 22-minute mark. And of course, Shyvana has incredibly high base stats when it comes to mitigation in that dragon form. So, Shyvana not going to die easily. Brand has already built his Rylai's, going now for that Liandry's. Everybody on CrsA Academy, they're getting their core items. In the case of Jax, he's got Blade of the Rune King, Triforce, and now Ninja Tabi and a Chain Vest, so Otter's and Kha'Zix's damage are pretty relevant at this point. Yazuki tier won't be able to touch that Jax. Everybody can't get damaged, with the exception of Tsatsulow on the side of CrsA Academy. They're too tanky, they're too manly, they're too buff, and they're too covered in armor.
And and they don't really have any answers either for the split push, right? And we haven't seen as much of the, okay, let's just group up 3 people mid and then have fabbbyyy and Rhux push everything else out. That hasn't necessarily been the playstyle of this game, but every time that they have found themselves in an open lane, they've been able to just consistently push, apply pressure, and take down towers and such. Rhux at this point is pushing a lane that has no buildings left in it, so he's going to go ahead and head back out as he has the creep wave pushing back over. And CrsA Academy, I mean, they're in such a fantastic position right now. You take a look at the gold gap, it's over 11,000. Like, it's just sitting right around that 11,000 mark. And I mean, they're what can you even do as Gold Gaming Los Angeles in this case? It looks like Cortez is going to say we can go in onto Jaximus. Jaximus gets burst down, going to take it down to almost nothing, but he gets the ultimate and the W off, and that's going to be enough to kill Yazuki. fabbbyyy now diving back in, does get the stun down on Otter, picks up that kill, turns it onto Cortez. Rhux comes in from the side, double kill now going down for fabbbyyy. He's still taking the tower, doesn't care, dives through with the Grandmaster's Might, still chasing down into Bischu, picks up the triple kill. OneBadBrad going to come into the base with him. They've already got creeps onto the Nexus Tower. It looks like CrsA Academy won to end this one. NydusHerMain, the only person alive right now for Gold Gaming Los Angeles. He's not going to be able to do anything. The GGs are coming out, and CrsA Academy pick up a 23-minute win.
23-minute win. It was from a surrender vote as Nexus, there we go, hasn't quite exploded yet. We get celebrations from Tsatsulow, but that Nexus is going to die in the next 4 seconds anyways. I mean, fantastic game from CrsA Academy. They took control so quickly, just with that early aggression, and then anytime GGLA did something, they were punished. The dive top lane, a 2-for-1 kill in favor of fabbbyyy. The dive bot lane, 1 kill for Rhux, 1 kill for, I believe that was OneBadBrad. Any sort of dive, any sort of aggression, any sort of laning, just immediate punishment from CrsA Academy. They had the lane, they had the buffs, they had the jungle, they had control over everything in that game, and they never really let it up. There was never a moment where I felt, this is GGLA's chance to come back, this is their big play, they caught them out in a mistake, because it just didn't happen.
So an excellent demonstration of how to take complete control of the early game. Shout out to OneBadBrad for his early Jarvan pressure as well. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, it's going to be our final game of the night. Going to be pitting Complexity up against To Be Determined.